Hi, this is Mike Moo with Hipaa Watchdog, and in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about Android and some basic security settings you should set on your Android tablet. Now in this example I'm using one of the latest tablets from Samsung. It's the Samsung Tablet A with the S Pen setting, but that doesn't really matter. If you have an Android phone, a lot of these settings are actually going to be very similar, particularly if you have the latest one. If you have an older one, I would highly consider that you talk to IT and figure out if you need to upgrade in order to get the best security settings on your phone or tablet device. Okay, so one of the first things you want to do is just make sure you go to settings and make sure you actually have a lock screen. So we're going to go over to that section here because it just shows up right over at lock screen and security. All right, lock screen type. Right now it's none, and there are several options to choose from. You have the swipe, you have the pattern, you have a PIN code, and then you have a password. Now, if you are actually using this for work, I highly recommend that you have a password, which is high security. Swipe just means that there's no password, and there's no security. You just swipe your finger on a screen, it unlocks. Pattern is more secure because you actually have to draw a little pattern based on 9 dots on the screen. You see, that's actually what a lot of people use. If you don't access or have confidential information you're worried about, I suggest just doing the pattern. That's perfectly okay. But for the rest of you who actually have important information that would be detrimental if it got lost, protected health information, for instance, I highly recommend you do a password, which is high security. So as far as the password is concerned, I recommend doing the more the better. So I recommend doing about 11 or 12 characters. A whole phrase would be good. So just do alphanumeric, put capital, lowercase, numbers, and also symbols. Now remember, whatever you do on here, you have to type in twice so that you remember it. So that's how you do the screen lock type security. Now there's also device security, which is kind of like an antivirus for your Android tablet. And as you can see for Samsung, they actually have Knox active protection activated, and that may be all right. Okay, that may be sufficient. However, you know, there are other third parties that you can consider that you can actually add to it. And you know, we'll go over that in terms of your Hipaa Watchdog subscription. You can go ahead and connect with us, and we'll give you some recommendations on other systems that you can use. But Knox is actually not too bad. It's already built in. Samsung bought them out and they added it to it. As far as allowing unknown sources to be installed, I also recommend turning that off. Now, if one caveat with this is that if you use the Amazon App Store, that does require you to add on unknown sources. But realize that that adds an additional amount of risk. I recommend keeping it off most of the time unless you have a very good reason to turn it on, because this is pretty much how a lot of viruses or hacks get in place, by allowing unknown sources to be installed on there. Okay, there are other security settings that you might want to consider. Particularly if you store documents on an SD card, if you can stick it in there, I recommend that you choose the encrypt external SD card option. Another major one is if you have PHI on your tablet or use it for work and has PHI or other sensitive information, also do encrypt device. What that does is it puts that level of encryption across the entire tablet, and upon boot up it will take a little bit longer to decrypt the device, but it definitely qualifies in terms of encrypting the entire device so that unauthorized users can't access the storage on here. Now, if you don't do this, people can hack through the USB port and get information as well. So this is something that you definitely want to turn on. It'll give you information there, you can read about it, and it'll let you know how long it would take in order to go ahead and encrypt the device. Okay, down here, there are security policy updates, which you can go ahead and take a look at, and you always want to update those automatically. By default, it actually comes in automatically updated when you get the device anyway. So you pretty much have to turn that off if you are going to make any particular settings. And for people that like to jailbreak or customize in a certain way, those are some things that you would have to turn off, and I recommend not turning it off. Most of us don't do that, particularly for work. Device administrators basically sets up who is allowed to go ahead and manage your device. And if you're in a corporate environment, chances are your corporate IT is going to be on here as far as a device administrator. Android Device Manager is a good one to have on here, and it's automatically added on when you register your device. either with Samsung and Android. And that basically allows you to lock it or erase the lost device whenever it connects to Wi-Fi or internet. So if you have a corporate tablet with LTE or 4G or internet connection, it gives you a little bit more security and controls as far as that's concerned. The rest of this stuff is credentials. You don't really have to mess with anything like that. These are things that have to do with security, corporate security, and IT security. Your IT people would probably set up things like that to make sure that you have the proper certificates, and also for encrypted emails. And that's pretty much what you just have to look out for in terms of the security stuff. All right, now another thing that's important too is to make sure that you are running the most up-to-date Android. And for the Samsung devices, you can go down here to About Device and click on Software Update, and you can have it automatically check and update your tablet automatically. Those are highly advisable because security patches come out all the time, and you definitely want to have the latest update on here. Now, if you're running a really old Android, let's say a couple years old, you do want to check with IT to see if perhaps this is okay to use on your network, and have them check it out. They'll look through most of the things that I have seen over here. And on top of that, if you have mobile device management available through your IT, and they can configure whether or not it's allowed or disallowed. So that's another benefit of having IT go ahead and configure everything. So we can talk about a lot of the policies and procedures and BYOD stuff and Hipaa Watchdog. You do have to be a subscriber, so check it out, subscribe today, and we'll go over pros and cons and risks and help you come up with the proper policies for BYOD, bring your own devices, for Android tablets, iOS devices, Windows phones, and BlackBerry devices for the most part. All right, thanks for watching.